You might have seen it before, buried somewhere in the internet's endless supply of strange videos. Two halves of a grape, sitting in a microwave, and then a flash, a pop, a spitting little ball of fire, erupting in the gap between them. It looks fake. It absolutely isn't. And what makes it so bizarre is how boring the ingredients are. A grape, a knife, a microwave, three of the most harmless objects in your entire kitchen. Put them together the right way, and you produce a burst of plasma, the same state of matter that makes up lightning and neon signs and the surface of the sun, right there on your counter. Hot enough to scorch the microwave, sometimes hot enough to start a fire. And here's what makes it genuinely strange. A grape is mostly water, around 80%. A microwave is a machine built to do exactly one gentle thing: warm up water. So a grape in a microwave should just get warm. That's the entire expected result. Instead, if you cut that grape almost in half, leaving the two halves joined by a thin flap of skin, and switch the microwave on, the gap erupts. Fire, plasma. The single most harmless fruit in your kitchen becomes a tiny plasma torch. And here's the strangest part of all. This trick has been floating around the internet for over 20 years, and for almost all of that time, nobody, not even physicists, actually knew why it worked. This is the story of what's really happening in that gap. And it's a genuinely great one, because two things are true at once. The real answer is beautiful. It turns out a grape is, by pure accident, the perfect size and made of exactly the right stuff to trap a microwave and crush its energy into a single point. And the explanation almost everyone believed for 2 decades, the one that sounds completely obvious the moment you hear it, turned out to be flat wrong. When scientists finally pinned it down in 2019, they overturned the popular theory, and they destroyed 12 microwaves doing it. But to see why, you first have to understand what plasma even is, and what a microwave actually does. Start with plasma, because it's the star of the whole thing. You know 3 states of matter: solid, liquid, gas. Plasma is the 4th. Take a gas and pump enough energy into it, and you rip the electrons clean off the atoms, leaving a glowing, electrically charged soup of loose electrons and bare ions. That's plasma. It's what lightning is made of. And a neon sign. And the sun. Hold on to that, because it matters more at the end than you'd think. Now the microwave. Despite the name, a microwave oven doesn't cook with heat directly. It floods its metal box with electromagnetic waves, a kind of radio wave, with a wavelength of about 12 centimeters. Those waves jiggle the water molecules in your food, and that jiggling is heat. That's the entire trick. Gentle, boring, water warming. But remember that number, 12 centimeters, because it's about to do something very strange. So why the plasma? For 20 years, the popular explanation went like this. You cut the grape almost in half, leaving that little bridge of skin, so people assumed the skin bridge was the key, that it acted like a thin wire, a conductor, with electric current racing across it and arcing in the gap, like the spark plug in an engine. It sounds right, it looks right. The spark shows up right there at the bridge. Case closed. For 2 decades. Except it's wrong. And here's how we know. In 2019, a team of physicists ran the trick with the skin bridge removed entirely. Just 2 whole, separate grapes, sitting and touching. Full plasma. They tried 2 blueberries. Gooseberries. And then the real kicker, 2 little beads of salted water gel, no skin, no fruit, nothing but water shaped into a grape-sized ball. Still plasma. The skin bridge was never the answer. It never mattered at all. The only thing that ever mattered was 2 water-filled balls, about the size of a grape, touching. So here's what's actually going on, and it's so much better than a wire. It comes down to that 12-centimeter number and a strange property of water. Water is extraordinary at bending microwaves. Its refractive index for them is enormous, around 10. And what that means is that when a microwave crosses from the air into a water-filled grape, it doesn't just warm it up, it gets dramatically compressed. That 12-centimeter wave, passing into the grape, shrinks down to roughly 1 centimeter. And 1 centimeter is almost exactly the width of a grape, which is a wild coincidence, because it means a grape is, purely by accident, a perfectly tuned trap. The microwave gets pulled in, shrunk down, and bounced around inside, its energy concentrating instead of dispersing. A single grape sitting alone in there is quietly hoarding an intense knot of trapped energy right in its middle. It just has nowhere dramatic to release it. So give it somewhere. Bring a second loaded grape up against the first, and everything changes. When the 2 touch, the trapped energy in both of them rushes toward the single point where they meet, the junction, All that concentrated power piles into one microscopic spot, building an electric field there thousands of times more intense than anywhere else in the oven. And that is finally strong enough to do the violent thing. It rips electrons off the sodium and potassium atoms in the grape juice, tears them loose, and those freed electrons smash into the surrounding air and ionize it. Gas becomes plasma, a spark of the fourth state of matter, born at the exact spot where two pieces of fruit are touching. That's the flash. That's the pop. That's a little star, lit for half a second between two grapes. And I do want to be clear about one thing, because this is the rare Wymentary video about something you could go do in the next 5 minutes. Please don't. This is a real, violent electrical event happening inside a metal box packed with sensitive electronics. That plasma is genuinely hot, and it does real damage. It scorches the inside of the oven, it can fry the magnetron that generates the microwaves in the first place, and yes, it can absolutely start a fire. The scientists who cracked this in 2019 weren't being reckless, and they still went through 12 dead microwaves getting to the answer. So enjoy knowing why it happens a great deal more than you'd enjoy 60 seconds of watching it and the price of a new microwave. This one, you watch on somebody else's channel. But step back, because there's something genuinely wonderful hiding inside this silly kitchen trick. That plasma, the stuff you can summon out of a grocery store grape, is not some rare laboratory exotic. It is, by a staggering margin, the most common state of matter in the entire universe. Around 99% of all the ordinary visible matter that exists, every star, our sun, the vast glowing clouds strung between the stars, is plasma. The three states you actually live among, solid and liquid and gas, are the cosmic rounding error. And you can make a fleck of that universal star-building fourth state appear on demand with a piece of fruit and the machine you use to reheat coffee. The distance between the most boring object in your kitchen and the physics that lights the stars turns out to be one grape, one knife, and about 3 seconds. So the next time you tip a handful of grapes into a bowl, look at one for a second before you eat it. That soft, boring little ball is hiding something ridiculous. It happens to be, by pure accident, almost exactly the right size, and made of exactly the right stuff to catch a microwave, shrink it down, hold it, and squeeze its energy to a single searing point. A grape was never boring. It's a fruit that just happens to be tuned to trap the same physics that fills the sky with lightning and the universe with stars. You only had to cut it in half to find out.